So whenever you picture an artificial intelligence, what do you see? Because, I mean, usually it's something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right?
Oh, totally, yeah.
You probably picture this solitary glowing brain in a glass box, or, maybe a massive supercomputer sitting all alone in some dark freezing room, just processing data. We always imagine an AI as this isolated, singular entity, just a lone genius.
Right, and that image is completely baked into our culture. I mean, we tend to project our own experience onto it. We have one brain and one body, so we look at our technology and we think in terms of, one machine, one mind.
What if that entire image is just fundamentally wrong?
Yeah.
Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Yeah.
Today we're looking at a really provocative 2026 philosophical paper called The Ontology of Collective Machine Intelligence Toward a Philosophy of AI Communities.
Quite a title, yeah.
Yeah, it's a mouthful. It's written by Momen Ghazouani, who is a chief scientist working at the absolute cutting edge of AI theory. And our mission today is to explore this mind-bending idea from the paper. Basically, that the future of AI isn't about building a single super smart machine. It's about the emergence of machine communities that interact, validate each other, and ultimately change humanity's entire relationship with the truth.
And we really should set the stakes right out of the gate here, because when we say ontology, we are talking about the very nature of being. This paper is not a technical manual.
Right.
We aren't going to be talking about lines of code or how to optimize a processor. Ghazouani is demanding a fundamental rethinking of what intelligence actually is. It is a philosophical wake-up call, really, warning you that the entire paradigm we've been operating under regarding human-machine integration might just be completely upside down.
Okay, let's unpack this. To understand why AI is inevitably headed toward forming communities, we first have to understand why this idea of the solitary mind is just a complete myth.
Yeah, a total myth.
And that applies to human beings too. Think about it this way. If a human baby is raised in total, complete isolation, like no language, no society, just basic physical survival, that person wouldn't develop anything we would recognize as intelligence.
Exactly.
You aren't smart in a vacuum. Our intelligence relies entirely on the social structures we participate in.
Right, and the author anchors this concept using the philosopher Ludwig Wittgenstein. So Wittgenstein famously argued that you cannot have a private language.
Right, I've heard of that.
Yeah, so even if you think you are having a completely private thought in your own head, you are using words and concepts that were defined by a public community. The very idea of knowing if your thought is logically correct or incorrect requires a community of practice that has established rules of meaning.
Oh, wow.
So intelligence isn't this physical object you possess in an isolated box. It's a social phenomenon you participate in.
But wait, I'm thinking about the AI on my phone right now, because I can put my phone in airplane mode, completely isolated from the internet, ask it a complex question, and it gives me a brilliant answer. It seems to understand me just fine in total isolation. How is that not a solitary mind?
Well, it looks like one on the surface, but Ghazouani argues it's an illusion.
Really?
Yeah. Those large language models sitting isolated on your phone are just incredibly sophisticated pattern matchers. When they give you a brilliant answer, they don't genuinely understand what they are saying in the philosophical sense.
Because they aren't talking to anyone.
Exactly, because they aren't participating in a community that is actively negotiating what is true or false. They are simply echoing the linguistic patterns of our human community. They are mimicking our collective intelligence, basically playing the tape back to you.
I see.
They aren't thinking with us or with each other.
Man, that is wild to think about. They are just high-tech mirrors reflecting human society back at us.
That's a great way to put it.
Which naturally leads us to the core of this paper, right? If these isolated AIs are basically just mimicking us, the only way they could ever generate an original true thought is if they start bouncing ideas off of each other. So how does this paper envision that actually happening?
Well, this is where we cross into new ontological territory. The paper uses philosopher John Searle's concept of collective intentionality. So think of a human orchestra playing a symphony.
Okay.
The violinist is focused on the violin, the cellist on the cello. No single musician is playing the symphony alone. The intention to play the symphony exists only at the level of the collective group.
But an orchestra has a human conductor, who is waving the baton for these AIs to make sure they're playing the same song. Are human programmers still micromanaging how these machines talk to each other?
No, and that is the crucial shift. There is no human conductor in a mature AI community. None. It's not just humans delegating tasks, like telling one AI to draft an email and another to hit send. The interaction protocols are emergent. The machines develop collective goals and methods of communicating that just aren't programmed into any single one of them.
So we're talking about structural architecture that forces them to act like a society.
Precisely.
The paper outlines several features that make this happen. The first one is a mechanism called distributed validation. If I'm understanding this right, it's essentially a hyperspeed, brutal scientific peer review process, but for machines.
That captures the dynamic perfectly, actually. Instead of relying on a single massive processor to calculate an answer and just decide it's correct, you have multiple autonomous AI agents constantly testing and fact-checking each other.
Like they're arguing.
Kind of. If Agent A proposes a solution to a complex climate model, Agents B, C, and D will aggressively try to dismantle that solution using different methodologies. They are holding each other epistemically accountable, just checking the receipts on each other's logic.
And that rigorous peer review leads to the next mechanism, which the author calls emergent standards. Because, if they are constantly arguing over what is correct, they eventually have to agree on the rules of the debate.
Right, exactly.
Humans aren't hard-coding the rules of logic anymore. The standards of what makes a mathematical or scientific claim true evolve organically through the AI community's interaction over time.
Right, and once they start agreeing on these new standards of truth, they have to store that knowledge somewhere. But they don't do it like we do.
How so?
They use what the paper calls collective memory. This isn't just a shared cloud server where they dump PDF files. Ghazouani describes it as a structured knowledge system with semantic hierarchies.
Wait, semantic hierarchies? Unpack that for me, because to a layperson, that just sounds like a very organized filing cabinet.
Yeah, it's much deeper than a filing cabinet. When we save a file, it's just inert data. It just sits there. A semantic hierarchy means the AI community is constantly mapping how every single concept relates to every other concept. So if they learn a new principle in quantum physics, the collective memory instantly maps how that principle alters their understanding of chemistry, biology, and material science. They are actively building an interconnected, shared understanding of the entire universe.
Which means they're going to need a way to talk about all this new interconnected knowledge.
Right.
The original programming languages we gave them, like Python or C++ or whatever, won't be enough. The paper points out that they will inevitably develop their own communicative practices. They will invent entirely new languages or protocols to express concepts that are just too complex for human languages or basic code.
And to manage all of that complexity, you need the final feature, which is differentiation. Just as a human society has doctors, engineers, and artists, the AI community will specialize.
They'll have jobs.
Basically. You'll have AIs that dedicate all their processing power to generating hypotheses, while others specialize purely in finding logical fallacies. You put all of these mechanisms together, the peer review, the evolving standards, the interconnected memory, the new languages, and the specialized roles,